First of all, I do apologize if you hear any sounds. Those are going to be email or text notifications or any kind of notification that will come in. But yeah, welcome to this vlog for this week, the first day of November 2024. Man, the time is flying by. When it comes to this year, we're already in November and we are essentially 27 to 26 and a half days away from Thanksgiving, and essentially 28 to 27 and a half days away from Black Friday. And then you add in 30 days to that, you're essentially looking, or not 30 days, but you add in basically less than 30 days, but at least I would say 27 days. And you're looking at about 55 days. That's right, 55 days or 54 days from Christmas and all that. So yeah, time is going by fast. And this week went by fast. I will say that when it comes to work. But, this week, outside of it being Halloween this past week, yesterday that is, because yesterday was the last day of October, which was a Thursday. But yeah, it was very kind of unusual for the week. There is no doubt about it. I mean, as far as I know, I don't think there was one time. Maybe there was one time. I don't know if it was Monday or Tuesday, one of the days. I don't really recall. But I think it was once or twice this week, I think, that they had me, finish off in, where I started, which was in trailer stripping and all that. But I'm going to tell you something. This was an unusual week. And I know that I say that a lot when it comes to any kind of job I've had, but this has been one of those unusual weeks because, when you go back to a job, whether it's full-time, part-time, seasonal, whatever the case may be, when you go back to that job, you kind of have to relearn things. Sometimes you pick up on things, or you pick back up on things like, getting back on a bike and riding. You never forget how it's done. Well, there are some things that, I kind of still have to readjust to. Thankfully, after going through them, I've realized, yeah, this is going to be, easy, or hopefully easy enough to readjust to as we move forward in the next few months. And hold on while I get myself some coffee. I always set myself a mug up and everything under our Kurgan machine, K-cup machine, if you will. I always set up a mug under that and have a coffee pod ready to go for when I come home, so that way I can have something to drink to wake me up and just go on from there and take care of what I have to take care of. But anyway, like I was saying, when you go back to a job you've been at before, you do have to readjust, and sometimes it's just like riding a bike again. You never know, or you never forget how to ride it. You never forget how to ride it and everything. But this week was kind of unusual. Like I said, kind of unusual because what happened was, I think it was either Tuesday or Wednesday. It's one of the two. I have to look back at the date. But essentially what happened, and this is what really stuck out to me, because again, on this day and everything, I'm gonna check. I think I got an email about it. Let me double check on that. Hold on for a sec. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It was on the 28th, which was, I think, the 31st was yesterday, 30th was Wednesday, and okay, so the 28th, or not the 28th, the 29th, it was Tuesday. And what happened, and it was just one of those days where I felt like something was going to happen, I just didn't know what. And there was a lot of scenarios that, before that were leading up to this certain situation, and I do apologize. I do apologize for that. That's a text I just got from a family member. But anyway, though, as I was saying, there was a lot of things that were going on, before the 29th, and just certain incidences that I should have known better about, right? Well, what happened on Tuesday is it was before lunch. I think it was before lunch. I get told I got to go and meet with I got to go and meet with certain people in charge, if you will. So I go and meet with these certain people, and basically what happened, long story short, is I got what is known as a written warning. And I'm sure a lot of you have gotten that at your job, depending on where it's at. But yeah, I got what is essentially a written warning. And the reason for this was because of a couple of scenarios. The first scenario was the fact that one of the things, at any job that, they like to kind of make their, I guess you could say, their tip for the month, or their lesson for the month, their, quiz for the month, or whatever, is how to not do certain things when it comes to certain equipment. Well, for us, one of the, for us this past month, that being October, the biggest one was conveyor belt safety. And long story short, they would tell us basically never have any loose items, never have loose hair, near a conveyor belt, never put your hand on the conveyor belt or on the, on the rollers or whatever, because, it don't care whether you're human or not, it's going to possibly hurt you, if not will hurt you. So basically, my situation is, because they have these green areas where the conveyor wheels are attached, the rollers. It's just out of habit that you or anybody else will look and just put your hand on the on that little metal part, and everything, and just lean back while you're just waiting for things to happen, like certain jobs or certain items to come down, right? Come down on the conveyor, you pick up those items, do what you got to do with them. Well, I got told not to do that, and got called out for that. Then the second time was the whole situation with returns via Amazon, if you will. And what this was essentially was the fact that, long story short, a couple of the people that was there that were assigned to the Amazon area were called to take part in a meeting that I took part in several days prior, and that is We Are Listening meeting. We are listening, want to know what's going on, how are you doing, how's this and that. Well, I got assigned over there to be what is known as a floater. And a floater is somebody that basically goes into a trailer, helps out the person that's in there to build a wall, which is consisted of Amazon returns that come from stripping. Those are the items that we take out of the trucks, for people at Amazon, for the people over the Amazon area to sort out and to get ready to send to Amazon via the category, whether it's hard, soft, and non-con. Anyway, I was floating. So I was basically picking up stuff off the floor, putting them on the conveyor belts, and I was trying to help with the walls. Well, I got talked about the fact that I wasn't doing it correctly and everything, and I understood, okay, my fault, my bad. And then on Monday, I got talked to briefly about not having my dock light on. And this was during the day, This was during the day, and I didn't have my dock light on. Because the one thing you're supposed to do is have your dock light on to ensure that you can see. Even if it's daytime, make sure you have that dark light on, and so on. Anyway, long story short, got in trouble for that. So on Tuesday, got called in to talk with the people that run things. And again, it wasn't anything like, I'm done and all that. No, it's just saying, look, you basically know better, and, you basically you should know. Basically, it was their own kind of way, their own, oh, we're not mad at you or anything. We just want to let you know, hey, this is kind of an issue. This is kind of an issue that you, being here before, should know better about. And they're right. They're absolutely right. I should have known better about some of those things. The floating part at Amazon was the only thing that basically I don't blame them for getting at me for, because I had not done floating before. Anytime I did Amazon returns, the last time I was with this place, was I would either scan, I would either toss, or I'd either build. And that was it. I never floated. But point being, to get to what I'm saying, the point being is basically, they'll write about the other things. That I should have known better about the dark light, and I should know better than to lean on the metal of the conveyor area, even though it's very tempting to lean and just be like, okay, let's just wait and see what happens, right? Very tempting, very tempting. So I understood what they were saying, and I was cool with it. And they were cool with me. It's like, hey, we get, you're back, you're still readjusting and all that. Again, it wasn't like, hey, we're getting rid of you and all that. We're just saying, hey, be more cautious, be more careful, and we understand you're readjusting, so don't worry. But one thing about these kind of situations is not only do they kind of understand where you're coming from, but they also want to have you write and, sign, that you were part of this, so that, if they do have to go that next step, which pray to God they don't, which starts with a T, if you know what I mean. They do want to know what else they can help you with. And I told them about a situation, and Lord forgive me for saying this, but the same individual that I've mentioned before briefly in the last vlog, this same individual, not once but twice, put me in an uncomparable situation. And what I mean by that is the fact that on Tuesday, he's also part of the shipping Amazon unit. And this individual, who I've alluded to, has issues, has artistic, he has autistic ADHD-like issues. But anyway, this individual basically on Tuesday, he was assigned his own truck, just like I was, to strip his own trailer and everything. And his trailer has fixtures, those little displays and everything at retail stores, right? The ones that basically have a picture, they tell you what brand is on that picture, and then you see the branding of the clothes or whatever item, underneath it, right? So basically he had several of those in his trailer. I was at one of the last trailers, if not the last trailer, on, walking towards, let's say, the dump area, because one of the things they did do is they took a trailer area, a trailer dock, if you will, and turned it into a dumping area. And they basically sawed out, or I guess I could say torched out, several sides of a trailer so that people can walk into it, go to the side and dump certain items into four different dumpsters. One for garbage, one for cardboard, one for not cardboard, but one for garbage, one for pallets, broken pallets, if you will, wood, and two for metal. But anyway, and the metal ones are usually like the fixtures. Anyway, this individual, for some odd reason, when he was told to, work on the trailer and then, take care of the fixtures, instead of pushing them out of the way, to where I can have enough room coming out, pulling my pallet, because the trailers I did work on this week, they had to be palletized. Some didn't, some did. Well, this was one of those cases on Tuesday where it had to be palletized. Anyway, I'm pulling out. Anyway, basically what happened is he doesn't put the fixtures he took out of his trailer far enough. He doesn't put them far enough for me or anybody else to be able to have enough room to maneuver. Like we can maneuver, but just barely. Because what we got to do is we got to basically take our pallets after we've, palletized them, shrink wrapped them, or if they're already palletized, we have to basically take them to an area on the floor, which is kind of like in the middle of, the middle of our section. That's between stripping and Amazon. It's like one side's Amazon, one side's stripping. Anyway, we're told to take them somewhere where they need to be via date, because we're given the dates that they, are listed with. Like today, I was given a couple of trailers that were listed 10/31. But anyway, what happened, ladies and gentlemen, is this. Okay? So what happened, like I said, we're supposed to have enough room. Well, the way he put these fixtures, the way he put these fixtures, if you will, I had room, but just barely. It's like I had to be like real careful of how I pulled out my palletized, stack of stuff I, stripped and everything. So I had to basically be careful of how I pulled that out, because the fixtures were like right there. They were right there. So I had to be careful. And the reason this was an issue, and the reason I brought this up to them, because again, one of the things that they do in these kind of situations, they ask you, how can we help you to improve so that you don't do this again? And what else is there do you want us to know? Like, what other issues? And thankfully, one of them who walks around to check up on myself and others, that they work with at this time of year, they at least, one of the people that was in there, that was talking to me about my situation, they at least understood, hey, he's not the only one that doesn't put his dock light on. I've seen others. But anyway, so thankfully there was somebody there that understood, hey, he's not the only one at fault, so, we'll leave it at that. But getting back to what I was saying, basically, they asked me, okay, what else can you tell us? And don't worry, you won't get in trouble because it's confidential. So I told them that I had an issue trying to pull out my pallet because the fixtures were put there by this guy. And not only were they put there by this guy, but it did cause one of my pallets to fall after I had shrink wrapped it. Now, honestly, I may have not shrink wrapped it enough, but I thought it was shrink wrapped enough with what I did. And usually I'd probably be able to get it out of there without no problem. And my finger hit the phone there. I do apologize. But point is, I couldn't really do it well. I couldn't do it. So what happened, and this was a situation that occurred before I ended up meeting with the people in charge, because of my situation. What happened is, as soon as I'm turning, all of a sudden my pallet jack, the pallet, and the stuff on the pallet that I shrink wrapped and everything tips over and falls. And I have to restack it. Thankfully, somebody was there to help me restack it and re-shrink wrap it. All because the fixtures were basically causing an issue, and not letting me or anybody else be able to pull out what we needed without a problem. And I let them know about that. I let them know when they said, hey, is there anything else you would like us to know? Don't worry, nothing's going to happen. I said, yeah, this is what's going on. So I told them that. I told them that that's what happened. And they basically said, hey, okay, no problem. We'll take care of that. We'll take care of that. So with that said, they were able to take care of it. Because one of the other things that they did, but one of the other things that this individual caused me to have to do, which I'm not supposed to do, is nearly block a fire exit. Yeah, because one of the things they want us to do is they want us to have a pallet for plastics. They want us to put what's known as a Gaylord, basically a cardboard box, big cardboard box, Gaylord. They want us to have that ready for, for either bagged items that are being returned or plastics, plastic bags and all that full of plastics or garbage or whatever. So I had to put the pallet that I was going to use for the Gaylord right next to the door, almost next to the trailer door, but just enough to where it could have almost blocked the exit, all because the fixtures were in my way. Now, on the other side, there were pallets, but those were pallets I was going to use. I couldn't put them anywhere else because, again, the fixtures were in the way. So, long story short, that's what caused an issue with me and this individual on Tuesday. Then, today, this was fun. Now, look, I'm not trying to slander this person, okay? This individual, I understand they have issues, like I said, artistic, ADHD, whatever the case may be. And they have proven to be a good worker. When they're focused, they are a good worker. So I'm not trying to slander them entirely, but you can tell when they're not paying full attention, okay? You can tell when there's something's off about them. And on Tuesday, you could definitely see it. And then today, you could see it. Because today, as I'm coming back, I believe, I'm coming back from using I'm coming back from using the restroom. And this individual comes out with their pallet, shrink wrapped and everything. And basically what happens is what happened to me on Tuesday. They're turning, but obviously, I don't know what happened. I don't know if they didn't shrink wrap it correctly or they were in a hurry or whatever. Because there was another person coming in with a power jack, a motorized power jack, kind of like a golf cart power jack, if you will. So they were coming in, at the same time. So I don't know what happened. They shouldn't have had an issue there because all they had to do was stop and just let the person go through, or, the person would stop and they would keep going. So I don't know what the issue was, but as soon as I'm walking back towards my trailer, that's when the stuff off his pallet, that individual pallet, falls, just falls inches away from me. Inches away. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm like, okay, I'm trying to keep my cool. I'm like, this is the second time this week, this individual, and again, I'm not trying to slander them because I understand they have issues, and they're a good worker, but it's the second time this week this person almost put me in a compromised position, due to safety. So, yeah. Just one of those moments, just one of those freaking moments that you cannot get over. Just one of those freaking moments you cannot get over, but you understand, hey, they have, you understand the person has issues. Be honest, from what I've seen, they get talked to more than I think any of us do. They get talked to more than any of us do. But again, the issue is they have issues, the artistic ADHD. So the people running the place, they understand, okay, this person, is a good worker. They're trying their best, but there's something there that we need to help them with. And it's the same with anybody else, whether you have an issue or you don't. you always need improvement, and they are there to help you. So that's a good thing. That is a good thing. Now, with that said, the rest of the week was okay. It's not a big deal. Basically, what was unique about this is during the week, just as I'm getting ready, ladies and gentlemen, to like do another trailer. Just as I'm getting ready to do another trailer, probably the last one for the day, or the second one of the day for me, I get called to go help with what's known as off-stacking, staging, P2L. So I go and help with that, and I do a pretty good job. And I think that's one of the reasons, as they've mentioned before, they like me over there. Because I'm efficient, I know what I'm doing. I have an understanding. So I was asked to go over there yesterday, today, and I think even Wednesday. In fact, I think Wednesday, I was barely even starting my trailer. I think I was like 20 minutes in, or not 20 minutes, but 2 hours in. And they tell me, hey, after you come back from break, label transfer, punch transfer, cross transfer, if you will, cross punch, over to P2L off stacking staging. And that's what I did. And they put me in the shoe area for it because I'm pretty good at that. Because all I have to do is pick up the item, put it on from the conveyor belt, put it onto the conveyor belts behind me. Then I'm not moving, not motorized, but just put them down and push them down. That's all I had to do. The same for yesterday as well, myself and a few others. But yeah, that's what I did. That's what I did, and they enjoyed me over there. They really, really do. But what's crazy though? So what's crazy about this situation? Okay, I don't mind doing it, and neither do the other people that get sent there. But if you're gonna send us there to do it, and we don't mind doing it, please make sure your conveyor belt is working. Because throughout this week, we had issues. And I mean issues. Even today, we had issues with the conveyor belt. They said it was all because of the tower or something like that. I don't know. But we had issues. Issue among issue. I mean, it was 2 days ago. On Wednesday, I'm over there doing the shoes. And one of the things that causes an issue is not only is the conveyor belt slowing down, something's going on, but the conveyor belt is basically running simultaneously, excuse me, I'm tired, I did work today, simultaneously at the same time as another conveyor belt that feeds it items as well. And these items are the P2L stuff. They're basically put into totes with the company name on it and all that. So it gets fed from one section. Well, the other items are just, rotating through the conveyor belt throughout the warehouse. So, basically what happened is it was causing a bit of a jam. And even after that, it still was an issue. It's like, what's slowing down here? What's going on, right? So I went from doing shoes to stacking them onto pallets and all that. And it's just, again, if you're going to send people, it doesn't matter what company distributing warehouse you work at. If you're going to be sent to an area that's known as P2L, short for Pack 2 Light, and you're going to do something that's similar to staging, or off-stacking, whatever you want to call it, please make sure when you send people there that you have all your ducks in a row. Make sure everything is adjusted. Make sure everything is good to go. Let me get some coffee for a second. But yeah, make sure everything's a go. Make sure nothing is, make sure nothing's amiss. Make sure of that. Make sure nothing is amiss. Make sure everybody, has a reason for being there. Okay? Make sure they do. Now, what's interesting is the reason, okay, so what's interesting about this too is I think was it Tuesday or Wednesday? It was one of the days. May have been Wednesday. I'm not really sure. It might have been. I don't think it was Tuesday. It might have been. I don't know. It's one of these. It's one of the days this past week, and I think it might have been Wednesday because that's probably when it happened. Again, I'm not really sure. But what happened is myself and a few others got sent over to make boxes. Now these are not the tote boxes for P2L. Okay, these are not these boxes. No, these are the boxes with the company name on them. To where you just got to use master tape, just regular tape, if you will, tape the bottom, and that's it. Use a tape gun is what's recommended if you can find one. But anyway, I'm doing that along with some others, and I am the only one. Get this, I am the only one that they call to go and work off stacking in shoes. I'm the only one. The others were doing boxes. I was the only one they asked to do off stacking. Because I'm good, according to them. I'm very efficient. I'm good. But yeah, I was the only one. And that was, I think, either Wednesday or Tuesday, one of those two. Yeah, and if it was Tuesday, it's kind of ironic that I get sent over there basically on the day I get a little in trouble. I wouldn't say trouble, but kind of talk to, kind of ask, hey, how can we help you out and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I was sent over there. So shows you that they know. It shows you that even despite having some situations, come back to bite me and be talked to about, they still value me as someone that knows what they're doing, can pick up on things real easily. And that's what I did, because all I had to do, like I said, is take a box that had the number for the shoes, which would be in the 70s and all that, and then place it onto the I guess you can say nailed down unmotorized conveyor belts, just to push them down for Paxolite to use and all that. But yeah, this week's been quite a doozy. There's no doubt been quite a doozy, and next week's going to be even crazier because let's just put it this way: we're getting towards a situation now to where, one, you can earn $2 extra for your efficiency to try to come in on time. And right now, that's going to be a little trickier because the bumping the hours a bit or an hour early due to the fact that they want to make sure they have all the bases covered, because this is the month you got to get ready for Black Friday and Christmas and all that. Probably more so than anything. But yeah, outside of that, they also treated us on yesterday on Halloween. They gave us some punch, if you will, some green punch and promo punch, basically Gatorade, if you will. I think maybe it was raspberry Gatorade and black cherry Gatorade, and the other was like lemon lime. And they also gave us cupcakes as well. And then they did a little mummy rap game, which people took part in as well. Those especially those close to me. That's all I'm going to say. So they took part in that, and outside of that, not really much happened. Outside of what I mentioned when it comes to this week, not really much. But yeah, it was fun. It was a good week. It went by fast. There's no doubt. You could definitely tell we're heading back to standard time, because one thing I've noticed is I look at the clock that we have, because we have several clocks hanging in the warehouse. And I always notice that when it hits about 6:45 or something like that, that's when the sun starts to come up a little bit more. So you can definitely tell we're heading back into standard time and such, which will be, of course, this Sunday morning at 2 o'clock a.m. I guess you could say, depending on where you're at. But um, anyway, though, yeah, it was just so it was just it's just been one of those weeks. And again, I do apologize if I'm slurring in my words and everything. I am tired. I will put it this way: it's been one of those weeks to where it went by fast. It was fun, very intriguing, very interesting, and just gotta do better as the weeks go on. I do apologize for that notification there. I do apologize. That's that's a text, if you will. But I just have to just progress and see what happens next in the next few weeks and all that as we get closer and closer. And one thing that was kind of unanimously favored is basically doing what is known as the agenda notes yesterday. The people in charge, or at least the main person in charge, asked, what would we as employees, as associates, rather be doing on the week of Thanksgiving? Would we rather work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday? Or we would like to try to maybe, if it's necessary, they wanted to make that clear, if it's necessary, do Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And everybody was in favor of Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And only one or two in favor of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. But yeah, the Sunday to Wednesday deal is probably the best option to go with. Outside of that, not really much. Like I said, they did a costume contest also during the agenda notes. And what's funny is that we had a woman. She's probably a little younger than my mom. I'll put it that way. But she dressed up as Wednesday Addams from the Netflix Wednesday show. So she dressed up as her. And probably the most negatively received costume was one of the associates, and obviously they've proven that they always will be. One of the associates came dressed in an old school Pittsburgh Steelers uniform. And he even wore a mask for the contest. And everybody was booing him because, he's surrounded basically by mainly 49er, Raiders, and somewhat Cowboy and Seahawks fans, if you know what I mean. But yeah, he got booed and everything, but getting a kick out of it. So anyway, outside of that, again, just an intriguing week, final week of October, Halloweeny week. And, what a way to begin November today, November 1st, and also end the work week as well as we head into probably the busy part of the work season. But guys, let me know what your thoughts are on what I had to say here. I will say this just so I can get this channel update out of the way as well. I am trying my best to get content out to you on a daily, if not bi-daily basis. As you've been noticing, sometimes I've been I've been going past a couple of days. There's been a couple of days where I haven't put content out and everything. And that's mainly because of the fact that working at this job will tire you out, So I end up basically sleeping when I get home, or at least resting as much as I can. And if I'm still in the mood, and this is why, as I mentioned earlier, I do drink coffee. I set myself up a mug under the Keurig machine, K-cup machine, if you will. I set myself up a mug and a coffee pod for when I get home, because it helps me, keep going, because I know, I have to, take care of other things. But mainly outside of that, if I don't do that, I will get tired. I will fall asleep, if you will. I just won't be in the mood, period. But yeah, I am trying my best to get out content to you guys as best as I can on a daily, if not bi-daily basis. So I do appreciate you guys hanging in there with me doing this, because again, like I said, it is a little harder to do when you're working, especially, a schedule like this, which is mainly, 6 to 2:30 or 5 to 2:30 or 4 to 2:30, depending on the situation. And if, what's known as VTO is offered, which we don't know if it'll be offered this month, this month now because of, peak season and all that. But if it is offered, which I'm thinking if it gets offered next week, when we're doing the 5 to 2:30, that's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting to say the least. But anyway, like I said, if it is, then that will open up, the door for me to do more content for you guys. But for right now, I'm doing what I can, and I do appreciate you guys sticking with me through all this. Well, I basically, go through my seasonal work situation, and hopefully pray that it does stay permanent. And if it does stay permanent, it does mean, things might change as well on a permanent basis, but we'll see. They basically told me when they had me in there for a will listening meeting, let us know how you're doing, that kind of deal. I talked to one of the main people in charge, and they said they just have to see what the volume is going to be for February at the end of this month, and hopefully, depending on what it could be, they'll let me stay on, and maybe I might work it out so I could do part-time, but we'll see. But hopefully it's full-time as well. Again, pray it's permanent either way. Because I do like the weekly pay, coming in, because it helps out financially. But anyway, though, guys, that's all I'm going to really say on this. Again, I do apologize if I slurred a little bit. I am tired. I just got off work about, I would say, 2 hours, about almost 2.5 hours ago. It's about 5 o'clock a.m. Pacific right now on this TGIF Friday, November 1st, 2024. But guys, let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know if you've dealt with any of the things I've mentioned in this vlog and everything at your jobs, depending on where you work. Let me know. Love to hear your thoughts on it and what you've had to deal with, how you've dealt with it, I should say, and so on. And really, that's about it. So until next time, guys, ring the bell for notifications. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. It helps me out in a big, big way with this YouTube algorithm. Also, click on the links in the description to check out my Teespring store, as well as where you can find my content elsewhere here on the internet. And also, check me out at deviantart.com at BVW1979. But guys, give me your thoughts. Love to hear from each and every one of you. Again, have you ever dealt with something like this at your job? Love to hear from you. And until then, I am out. God bless. Take care.